Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Pothead Picker on I don't do that anymore. Sorry, I was trying to pay attention to make sure I sat back, adding the video elements, a whole new thing. So it's going to take me a minute to get adjusted. Sorry, Perry Flips with a Z. Pothead Picker on Twitter and or X or whatever you want to call it. Flips and Giggles on Facebook if you want to join the Facebook group. And yeah, Whatnot. We're doing another Whatnot auction finally tomorrow. So it's going to be all Monster High dolls. We've got a bunch to go through. So we're going to do that. And I have at least one giveaway. So yeah, that should be fun. And I didn't go out this weekend at all. I didn't really go out much. I haven't really picked anything up to sell since I don't know, it's been a little bit. I think the last thing I got was the free Legos that I talked about last time. I haven't picked anything up. I went to the thrift store, didn't buy anything. I haven't been to another estate sale. So yeah, I'm slowly, once I go through, so tomorrow we're going to go through one bin, and then hopefully that motivates me to do the other bin. Because I have a bunch of Bratz dolls that I wanted to go through, that I just have been accumulating, you know what I mean? I've got some that are worth some money, so I don't know if I'm going to throw those in there. We'll see how it's going. If it's going good and people are spending money, I might bust out some of the rarer items. So we'll see. That should be fun. I'm going to do it before the kickoff of the first playoff game. So hopefully it coincides with my kids resting and stuff, so they're not interrupting. Sorry, I didn't clean this table before I started. My kids just made a mess of this table. They were doing Play-Doh and shit and coloring, and so this table's just a mess, all their food. Anyway, enough about that. Another week in reselling. Like I said, I didn't really go out and do anything, but I had a big a big week as far as reselling goes, for just getting things accomplished. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me if I do that. My head's cut off. Whatever. We'll figure it out later. Learning curve here, people. So, yeah. What the fuck was I just talking about? I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, not a ton of stuff going on. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's still free. It's so cold. It's so cold people don't even want to go out to do anything. I went to the post office. There's nobody. Not as many people on the roads. It's just cold in New England right now. I don't even think it's been as cold as it's not that I don't think it's been as cold as this, but I don't think it's been this cold. It's been colder, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. But it hasn't been this cold in a while. So people just don't want to do shit. And people certainly aren't going to set up for a sale. Some people have. I went to one, it was last week. It was an indoor yard sale. It was in her garage. So it's that's a garage sale. Why didn't you just call it a garage sale? And she had a lot of stuff marked. I think I talked about this sale. I got just a Funko Pop, or not a Funko Pop. It was a Charlie Brown Funko bobblehead or something like that. Wasn't worth it. Then I just got something for my wife. So, but all their stuff was marked with not professional tags, but I've talked about tags on here before. If you see some tags that are the hanging tags, you know that they probably want to get some money back for. They spent a lot of their money on just the tags for their sale. I've noticed a lot of people don't use tags anymore. That's a big thing now. I see in different Facebook groups and stuff, people will talk about if I go to a yard sale and I don't see any stickers or anything like that, I just leave. It's why would you do that? You know what I mean? My trick is, and I know people, if you're a veteran picker, if you've been doing it a while, and this is an automatic tip. You find something that the value of, like that you absolutely know the value of. And then you kind of ask how much that is. You want to ideally get a couple of those asks in. You know what I mean? You're not going to ask every single item, but like you kind of get an idea. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're like way low. Sometimes they're way high. Sometimes they're like kind of in the middle where you're like, and then in those cases, I'm usually just like, oh, will you give me a deal if I buy a bunch of stuff? And they're usually more than happy to be like, yeah, sure. And then you just make a pile. And it usually becomes cheaper. But yeah, I mean, it's, if you think about it, I mean, if you spend about, like, I have a bunch of signs just accumulated that, like, obviously, like, I've talked on here. I mean, that was a big theme for a little while. I'd like to get back to that, but talking about when people leave their yard sale signs out, and like my garage sale signs, I say garage sale because it says garage sale, even though I have like a driveway sale. I don't have a yard sale. But like those signs, man, they're expensive if you buy the ones that like stick into the ground and are solid. So we saved those, and then we had some from an estate sale. So like we just kept it and put the thing on. I think what I'll start doing if I have to get more for, future estate sales is I'll just put like tape something on there. You know what I mean? So I can just take the tape off and fucking put another thing on. So I don't have to worry. Cause like right now we wipe them down and shit. And it's a pain in the ass. It takes a little while. So I'd rather streamline that. But I mean, as of right now, we have a bunch of signs and you don't really need, you know what I mean? You can just put like, whatever. You don't need all the extra info. A lot of times I put too much info and I'm like, I don't need all that shit. But it's it's just way too cold right now for people. And it's just a lot of the people that are putting tags on their stuff. So if they're putting tags on their stuff, man, it means that they want to get their money back. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of times it's like cheap stuff, but it's just weird. It's like you don't see like I never see tags. Occasionally I'll see tags, and like I said, it'll be like the bougie tags where people think that it's like, that they're going to get the money that they'll get on eBay, or they have like a little written sign. Like a lot of times they'll put like a ton of info on those little tags too. It'll say like on eBay this much, our price this much. It's like, you're not a business, so that's not how this works. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the move. You ask for the price of something you know of, Sometimes you can ask for a couple things that are in like, differing items. And then if you get like a kind of a baseline for what they're going to ask for money, then you just kind of go from there. It's not that hard to negotiate when they don't have stickers. Nearly every sale I go to has no stickers anymore. Like, it's just not done. And a lot of times it's better too, because if you have like collectibles and shit and they throw a sticker on it and you can't get the sticker off, or you have to go through a process to get the sticker off. I've had people try to take the stickers off of things at sales, and you're like, whoa, hold on. You know what I mean? They're like, well, I need that sticker because me and fucking Susan are splitting the money from this sale, and those stickers are hurt. You know what I mean? And so then you have to be like, no, don't touch my shit. Yeah, that happened a while ago whenever people like try to fuck with like new stuff. It's like, this is brand. It doesn't even like occur to them that they, you know what I mean? Because it's at a sale, they're paying such a small price for it. They're like, oh, whatever, this thing's 50 cents. But in your mind, you're like, this thing's $1,000, and you're about to fucking cheapen it by $200 by, ripping this sticker off aggressively. So anytime I can try to step in and interject when somebody's doing that shit, I try to. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, you're going to have a bunch of shit that's fucked up or open. And yeah, I had a lady one time. I've definitely told this story on the podcast before, but I was buying it was like a brand new VCR, sealed, like, you know what I mean? And I forget where, I think we were just going to my wife's family's house or something like that. So we were just driving. We happened to see the sign, so we pulled over. And it was like the second day of the sale, and she just had all these clothes and all this shit like out on in the yard, basically. So like I walked around for a little bit. There was a lot of junk and bullshit, but they had it was a brand new sealed VCR. So I was like asking her how much for it, and she comes over and she like pulls out a box cutter. She starts to go open it, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, like. And she starts saying, oh, this whoever, I forget whose sale it was, but she's like, they were a hoarder and sometimes they put stuff in other boxes. I was like, well, that's a factory seal. I was like, I'd like to keep it sealed if possible, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, look, you can tell, like, because she was afraid it was like there was going to be valuables or collectibles or something like that in it. And I was like, no, you can tell, like, look, it's factory sealed. Like, this hasn't been opened yet. And so she looked at it and she was okay with it. But I was like, fuck, because I wasn't going to buy it if she was going to open it. Like, it just, leads to all types of extra problems, Because if you have it sealed, you can take, like, good pictures, and it's harder to, get scammed on, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can get scammed either way, but I try not to worry about that shit. But, yeah, that was close. She, like, had the box cutter almost to the thing, and I was like, whoa. Let's not do anything fucking crazy, lady. Let's chill out for a second. Let's fucking take a breather. I fucking slipped on the ice this week. Oh, man. Whew. Luckily, it wasn't, like, too bad. I was getting out of the car and, like, my left foot hit the ground, and I completely forgot that the ground, like, I parked over a puddle, basically, and it had completely frozen. And so, like, I stepped out and I put my foot stepped down on it, and before as soon as I put weight down on it, I like slipped out from underneath, but I was right next to the door, so I kind of like, but then like my shoulders were kind of fucked up. Like both my shoulders were hurting after that. Like my right shoulder hurt, but I fell on my left, so I don't know what was going on with that. But and then my ass still is a little bit like tender, because I fell like on my left ass cheek and my left side. But yeah, it fucking, wasn't even thinking. My foot just immediately hit, and I just slipped and fucking ate shit. I'm like, all I can think is like, dude, I cannot wait for summer, spring. I'll take spring at this point, man. January seems like it's been the longest fucking month. I'm like, every other month, the last few months have just gone, flew by. But it just seems like every time I check the calendar, I'm like, oh, it's still January. Like, it feels like it should be, close to spring by now. And yeah, I'm hoping it's supposed to warm up. Anything is better than the weather that we've had. It's been so fucking cold. I was outside today. My hands were like freezing this morning. My neighbors put up a little ice rink, like made it out of like wood and shit, and then like put tarp down, and then so we got the girls some skates, and we were out there, letting them fuck around on the skates. My youngest was kind of too little. She'd be like, I was kind of hold her, and her feet would just go back and forth like too fast to even, you know what I mean? She couldn't grasp. But my oldest was getting it, and she was starting to get better and better as she went on. She said later she didn't like falling. It's like, well, yeah, that part sucks, but once you learn how to do it, you won't fall as much. And I am not a big skater. I didn't skate a ton, but like every Friday they would we would hang out at this ice skating rink. It was in the high school parking lot, and it was like the high school ice skating rink basically. But on Fridays they would do like public skate basically, and so all the kids would go there. I was just talking about this earlier to my neighbors and shit. So I don't know why I just said that, but anyway. So yeah, you would everybody would go on like Friday nights, and I would skate like some of the time, but I could never stop. So like I would just always like skate till I like, kind of hit the wall, not hit the wall, but like, skate up to the wall where you could kind of grab onto it. I never like aspired to be a professional skater. When we were like, we used to go to they used to take field trips to this other place called Skate Town, and they definitely don't do this now. Like this is probably one of the reasons why, but we ended up going, and one of the teachers there, like, he was probably like my age now, but like we were all having a good time or whatever, and he like slipped at one point and fucking hit his head like bad, like he had to get taken out in the ambulance and shit. So, and that was like, we were fucking young when that happened. That was probably like 6th grade, I think. And but I remember like afterwards, my buddy at school, he told him, he was like, yeah, he's like, Perry was laughing when you were fucking fell and hit your head. I was like, I did, like, he's like, that's not very nice, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I fucking didn't. I didn't laugh. It was fucking crazy. So anyway, yeah, I always am like worried I'm gonna fucking smash my head open. Like, he didn't like smash his head open, but he hit it hard, dude. Like, I still remember hearing it and just like, ooh, I just got like the chills. You know, you get the chills sometimes when you fucking think of some shit like that. Ooh. Ugh, no thank you. I never like used to get bothered by like bones breaking videos and shit like that, and like people getting hurt. That shit never used to bother me. And then I sprained my ankle like my junior or senior year of high school, like, and then I just didn't, like, I couldn't deal with those videos anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was. Like, when I sprained my ankle, that shit sucked. It just was like, you know, take a while to get to the recovery or whatever. And then it's just getting used to like playing football again and running on your fucking ankle that's fucked up. And like once, because it's, you know, it takes so long to heal that then you got to get it stronger again. And so you got to do like physical therapy and it's just, you know, takes a long time. And that was a sprain, and like I think they said like that sprain was like worse than like a break or something like that. It took longer to come back from than a break. But ever since then, that was like, I was like, yeah, I didn't like like seeing videos of people getting fucking like injured and shit, like severely hurt. I had a buddy who used to get high, and he'd want to watch. There was a show on MTV called Scarred. And you'd want to put that shit on. Scarred is like just people doing extreme sports but getting fucking hurt in the process. It was on MTV like late night back in the day, and then they put it online obviously once YouTube came out. But he would want to get high and put that shit on, and I could not handle it. It was too much for me. I'm like, I can't handle this shit. Speaking of which, I got high this time it was the first time I've spoken in a while on the show anyway. So I feel like I'm doing a good job. The last 2 episodes were kind of like, I was running out of time and stuff. And this week I kind of was running out of time, but I figured like my wife's off today. We're not really doing shit. We're just kind of hanging out at the house. The kids went down for like a later nap. So I wanted to make sure I got the video, which that's right. The first episode that I did, which is like episode 47, I think, is on YouTube. So this going forward, this show should be on YouTube as well as all the other platforms. Which, I mean, it's not it's just a camera on me talking. You know what I mean? You're not missing much by watching it on YouTube, but definitely watch on YouTube if that's where you prefer. I'm just saying I'm not like doing anything fun. Most of the time I'm in pajamas, and right now I badly need a haircut. I just haven't had time, and I don't know I kind of want to like change it up a little bit because I got a bald spot in the back. It's not even like a bald spot. It's just kind of like, it's getting thin up there. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this might be my last chance to, do a different haircut before I have to just shave it off. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm like, I got like thick hair and shit. It's just this one fucking spot. I'm like, maybe I should get some like for Hims or something. Is for Hims just boner shit, or is that hair too? I can't remember. I don't think it's Rogaine anymore. I don't think Rogaine's probably like some fucking crazy chemicals. It's all probably some crazy chemicals and shit. I'm not like crazy worried about it. It'd be funny though if I took some of that shit, my just like hair just started growing crazy, couldn't control it. I feel like that's a sci-fi book or movie or something like that. It definitely is. Or maybe it was a spoof on one. I don't know. Don't ask me to cite my sources. So, this week, so I bought the trailer. That all went, of course there was a few bumps in the road because I'm retarded, guys. I do dumb shit, and I don't like, I need to plan stuff out better. But this kind of like the trailer situation was kind of like it came up in like it showed up on Craigslist. I'm looking for a trailer, so I'm like, I just got to get the trailer first. You know what I mean? So I got that locked down. I've already told the story of how I got the trailer. I'm not going to go through that whole story again. But I did just want to say that, it was like a last minute thing. So obviously, it went off fairly smooth. Despite, having to go get a different trailer hitch. I got to return all the stuff, so it was like, no harm, no foul, whatever. So then I go to the RMV, which is like the DMV, that's what they call it here. And I get there early, and I'm like, I wanted to get there like before they opened and then just wait in line because where I grew up, like there was always a huge line. I grew up in a city though, where it was like fucking shitload of people. And so anytime you went to the DMV, you had to like go like you were going to get concert tickets and bring like chairs and shit and just like camp out at the fucking crack of dawn. Like it was crazy. And if it was cold, forget it. It was fucking freezing out there. So I was like, all right, I'll just go a little bit early. Like I know this place isn't as crazy as like that place. So I get there a little after they open at 8 o'clock, and I pull in, the parking lot's like empty. So I go in, there's a couple people ahead of me. So I'm like, oh, dude. I should have known better. You know what I mean? I should have just known better. And I should have just handled it while I was there. I was like, I got to the point where I was like fucking so annoyed. So I go up to the lady and she like, I show her my paperwork. I printed the shit up before. I was like, I'm going to be on my P's and Q's. I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to show up with all my shit ready to go. So I'm like, here we go. I get there. And when you go on the website, like all these government websites, I'll get back to this again because I have another situation that happened. And, so I go, on the website, it doesn't tell you really anything at all. All it says is, hold on, I'm trying to remember what I was talking about here. I got sidetracked. I looked in the light and it fucking distracted me for a second. What the fuck was I just talking about? Oh yeah, the RMV. So when you go to the website, all it says is like, what does it say? It says you need your license, you need this application, and something else. It wasn't like, it was all stuff I had. So I go there, talk to the lady, the first lady, because they have like the gatekeeper lady who like decides if you're ready to go see somebody else. And so she like sees my shit. She's like, oh, you need this stamp from your insurance. So I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So, and she's like, yeah, so you got to print up a new one with this. It has to be stamped from your insurance. So I like go outside, call my insurance. Didn't realize, like, this lady doesn't tell me that they have a printer inside. So I drive to Staples, paid a couple bucks, printed it out, go back there, go in line again, see the lady, and she's like, okay, perfect, you got it stamped, blah, 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 it looks good. Go over to the other lady. So then she gives me a number. I go and sit and wait. I'm like, okay. Like, and at this point, it's like, I got there at 8 o'clock. It's like now almost 9 o'clock, like just about 9 o'clock. So in my head, I'm just like, dude, I got here early, thought I had my paperwork. Like, even still, like this place, like, even though there's not a lot of people, like, they still find a way to just make it so incredibly like convoluted, and just everything just takes so much longer than it needs to. So get my stupid fucking number, go sit down in my stupid goddamn chair, and I'm waiting. And so these other people go up, and then it's finally my turn. And I go up to see the lady, and she's like, oh, she's like, is this person like going to be owning it with you, or did you buy it from them? Because like his name was on it twice. And I go, oh, I thought like that was the ownership history. And she's like, no, it's just who's going to own it with you. So you have to print this up again. So I'm like, okay. So instead of just like looking to make sure everything else was good, she gives me that. I go over, print it up, come back, see her again. And she's like, oh, you don't have the VIN number of this thing. And I go, oh, my insurance company said I didn't need that because of blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no, you do need it. So then I had to go. So at that point, I was just like, all right, I go outside and I get my wife to give me the VIN number. That's right. I go outside, I call her. She gives me the VIN number. I go back in. I go to the lady. Because at this point, I'm like just cutting in front of people to go like, jump to the lady who was helping me before. Because I'm like, I'm not waiting fucking 5 lines again. So I go over and I'm just like, hey, I have the VIN number. And she's just like, no, the insurance company has to print it up with the VIN. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I just give up. I just left. I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah, I went home, called the insurance company. They sent it over right away. So I like have it all ready to go. I just have to go back there again. So I'm not looking forward to that. I fucking hate the RMV. Oh my God. Even though it was like, there was nobody there. I'm like, oh man, I knew it was too good to be true. It took me like 2 hours there. I had other shit. I was like, oh, I'll get there. I'll get it done early. It's just a trailer. Just a fucking trailer. It's going to be at the house 90% of the time. How long is this going to take? Oh, man. It turns out it takes an incredibly long amount of time just to do anything. So I'm going to hopefully go there early. I'm going to bring my kid next time because the kid does one of two things. It sometimes it makes people like move a lot faster because they're just like, oh shit, I don't want to get like this kid, to lose it, or they just have no idea, you know what I mean? And they're just like, whatever, like, they just take their fucking time. And so you just are there annoying everybody. Like, whatever, man, if I gotta get this shit done on a second day, it's taking me forever, I'm gonna fucking be a little bitch about it and annoy everybody with my kid. Well, no, it's gotta get done. It's not like it's my wife worked like the end of the week and then the beginning of the week, so you know what I mean? She has this weekend off, and so she finished the week last week, and she'll start the week this week. So I just haven't had time to go in. I'm just going to have to take the kid in, drop the other one off, and take her in, and it'll be all right. It's not that bad. But man, it's crazy. It's like, why does that shit take so fucking long? And then, so I've another update on my site. I came back with an update about how my business had been dissolved, and so that's like you have to pay like $100 on top of what you owe. So I owed like $1,500, and yeah, I know I should have like been on top of it. And so they give you like an online option. Like according to this lady, she's like, they said that like, oh, they don't send anything out to like give you any notice or anything like that because it's like your responsibility, which is fine. Because like that wasn't the issue that I had. My issue was like I never got a receipt for when I paid them, so like I just didn't know, what the deal was. And then they didn't send anything the next year, so I was just like, oh, this like, it was just an elaborate scam or whatever. But whatever. Anyway, again, I'm not a smart person. There's a reason I'm doing business school right now, because I'm fucking like, I need to learn how to do this shit better. So anyway, here's an update. So yeah, business was dissolved. So I called in, and like I knew that I wasn't going to get like you have to pay $100 to get it, like whatever. And I knew that there was no way that they were going to like refund me that $100, but I figured like, why not? Listen, I'll just tell the story, and then I'll just like tell my like thinking afterwards. So I called just to make sure I knew how to do everything. You know what I mean? Because at this point, like I thought it was pretty basic, and like at this point, it's not proven to be So, yeah. So I call, and I'm just like, hey, how do I do this? Blah 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 blah. And she's like, yeah, send $100 with this, print out this, and do this, this, this. I was like, okay. then I was like, is there anybody I could talk to about getting reimbursed for the $100? Because like I submitted my stuff and you guys sent it back to me, almost a month later. And it just, I didn't even have time to correct the error, this, that, and the other. And so like they were like, no, and blah, blah, blah. And so they transferred me. And it was like, you could tell these people were like young and they're just like, they all spoke the same way. You're just like, they didn't want to offend you. And unless you curse, they couldn't hang up on me, I don't think. Because they were like, I mean, they probably could have, but I wasn't cursing. And I think I was entertaining them. So like this guy was like, yeah, we got a lot of submissions at and you got to be on top of your business stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I sent my stuff in, like, you guys had a deadline of the end of the month. I sent it in and it didn't get back to me until after the deadline. Like, and they're like, well, if you thought that there was an issue, you should have called. And I said, well, I didn't think that there was an issue. That's why I didn't call. I assumed that it was fine because it had been, it had been received or whatever in the mail. Like, well, you could have called to confirm, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's true, I could have, but you also had my phone number and my email. You asked for it specifically, and then you sent it back like after the deadline. Like, I didn't think that there was an issue to call about because I had sent my stuff in early and like well past, like, well, sometimes when you get it that late, we don't have time to go through it. Like, so if I submitted it on the last day, you don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, what if I submitted the last couple days and you don't get to it? Like, so I feel like that's like, I feel like that shouldn't be allowed. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy because you're just like, if you get it in, and I just, so anyway, so at this point, I'm like, I know I'm not getting the money back. I'm like, let me just like waste $100 worth of this, the government's time. I'm like, let me just, these employees have stuff to do. Maybe, I don't know. And so, so the first person I was arguing, like the first person I didn't really argue with. Then the second person, like I said something and like like a fucking boomer, dude. So I'm like trying to talk shit, but I'm like trying not to curse. So like I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm legitimately like, maybe they'll give me this $100 back, maybe they won't. But then I'm also like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm never getting this $100 back, so I might as well get my money's worth here. And so, like, one of the sick burns I came up with was like, I was trying to think of like what kids would be on their phones with, and for some reason my mind went to my mom. And my mom's constantly on fucking Candy Crush. So I was like, he was like, yeah, we're very busy with blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh yeah, you're busy. I'm sure you're busy playing Candy Crush. And so you could kind of hear the smile in his voice. And then I heard somebody laugh in the background. So I go, oh, you're just sitting there laughing with your buddy. So that's when I got like pissed. Because normally I don't get pissed. I'm just like fucking around. And so I got pissed. My emotions got a little bit away from me for a little bit. So I was like, oh, you're just sitting there laughing with your buddies, blah, 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 blah. He's like, sir, sometimes people have conversations elsewhere. And he was totally fucking full of shit, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, let me talk to whoever else is in charge of you, blah, 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 blah. So he comes back and he's like, well, our lawyer just got out of a meeting and she'd love to fucking talk to you, blah, blah, blah. So I go, all right, thank you. Let me talk to her. Like, I was like, you can go back. And I don't know if he thought that I was going to be like, oh, I'm afraid to talk to a lawyer. It's like, what are they going to bill me for the fucking time? That was my whole thing, is like, oh, you're going to put me on with a lawyer. I'm going to get at least a fraction of that $100 back talking to a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like, a lawyer's time is worth a lot of money. And I was surprised how long she talked to me for. But anyway, before I got on the phone with her, I told the guy, I was like, oh yeah, go back to, yeah, you can go back to giggling with your friends. And he just kind of was like, so then I got on with her and I'm bitching to her about how I should get my $100 back. She's like, sir, we're not going to give it back to you, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going on and on, like, and she would like agree with me on shit. And then she'd be like, yeah, but no, we're not giving your money back. And so then I was like, so then finally got to the point where she's like, sir, this conversation is no longer fruitful and blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I wish, so I was like, I tried to be like, no, wait, don't hang up. But she got off the phone because I wanted to just be like, I honestly just got back a fraction of my money because you can't believe you just stayed on the phone for that long for something so stupid, just to be like, you know what I mean? So she didn't think she won. But she does. She definitely thinks she won. She's a lawyer, and she didn't get to give my $100 back. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, I'm gonna get my money back one way or another. If I have to fucking take up an hour of a lawyer's time, I'll fucking do it. Like, and obviously, like, I probably took up 20 minutes of her time. That's like, you know, whatever the fraction is of an hour. Is it 1/5 of an hour? Yeah, it's like 1/5 of an hour, I think. 20, 40, 60, 80. 1/5 of an hour. So, like, if she gets paid $200, it's like, you know, it's a sizable chunk of money. I don't know what lawyers get an hour. I'd assume it's a lot of money. It could even be a lot more. Who knows? But yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, I'm gonna get my fucking money one way or another. So I took up enough of the government's time to where it kind of offset. Let's see. Yeah, so I said tomorrow we're going to be doing the whatnot. So I have an update. I was wondering if my wife was going to be out here for this, but she's not. It's with a heavy heart that I think the hot USPS chick is no longer there with us. I mean, she no longer like works at that location. I haven't seen her there in a while. I stopped going because, not just because of like that. It's just when there's only one employee at that place, it's like it takes forever. Whereas the one I go to, it's like you're always in and out. Even if there's one employee and there's like a line, they're always quick. It's weird. It's like you go up the street to a different location and they just do not know how to do post office stuff. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I just wanted to give that update. I was pretty bummed about that. I'm sure my wife is devastated as well. Finally finished Silent Hill. Man, that was trying to get through that game. It's fun, man. Playing scary games is fun. But then I was like, I need to get like a game where I can just fucking kill shit. And so I picked up, I was in between Helldivers and Space Marine. And I think Helldivers is more like multiplayer. I'm more big into like the single player campaigns and stuff. So I picked up Space Marine. I had a $50 gift card to GameStop and I was worried they were going to close. So I picked it up. And I picked up the game and it was like in it was almost like a poly mailer type, like small plastic, like the cellophane, almost like a team bag, like a big team bag. It wasn't like sealed or anything like that when I bought it from GameStop brand new. So I'm like, did you just sell me a pre-owned game for... I should have asked them, but I was already at home. Like, I didn't look at it until I got home. And it's 20 minutes away, so I'm like, I'm not driving back fucking 20 minutes to ask them. But I really wanted to play some Space Marine last night. I've been so good with my schoolwork. It's been such a good boy. So I got in some video games last night. And, yeah, that game's fun, man. Like, I just was like, because when you're playing Silent Hill, it's like everything is very, like, creeping, you're going slow, you're trying to, like, you know, make sure nothing jumps out at you and fucking scares the shit out of you. Whereas Space Marine is like, fucking, let's fucking shoot some things, let's fucking kill some things, And when I was there, the guy was like, oh, you're here for Pokemon cards? And like I could tell that by asking that question, he was like that they were out of Pokemon cards, because I was also going to see if they had some Pokemon cards. I should have asked them if they do the grading. But my fear now would be like you'd give them your cards and they would go out of business and then you'd be fucked. Because a lot of them are closing and like they're doing PSA grading now. So like you can submit your trading cards to them and then they'll send them in for you. But like if the company closes, then what happens? Are you just fucked? So I should have asked him about it. I completely forgot to ask him. I'd have to imagine that PSA would like have your back. Like they'd just ship it back to you. Like I feel like you wouldn't have to go pick them up from GameStop, but maybe you would unless you paid extra. I don't know. I don't know what happens in that situation. I really don't. Yeah. But he's like, did you want Pokemon cards? And everybody's been looking. I can't remember it. Prismatic, I forget what it's called. But that's what everybody's been looking for. And I just have been trying to find some to open, like I can always find the bullshit that nobody wants. Like, it's hard to find fucking good Pokemon cards. I have a bunch of old shit, so I could try to trade for some, but I'd rather have the older shit. Like, I've got like Hidden Fates, like a fair amount of Hidden Fates, some Shining Fates, stuff like that. So I've got a bunch of that stuff just stored up, ready to go. But man, it's so tempting to open them and just like, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll just be like, fuck it, dude. I'm just going to open all of them. Just go fucking crazy. See what I get. Record the whole thing. Put it on a Patreon. I was just talking to my wife about starting a Patreon. But we'd have to do like a podcast together. That'd have to be one thing. That's one idea I have. Let's do a podcast with her. And then we have GoPros that we just are not using for shit. I bought them to do the podcast, and then I realized how fucking easy. I was making it way more difficult than it needed to be to do a video podcast. And yeah, now I have the video podcast like completely ready to go. I don't know. We'll see. As I'm saying that, I'll probably run into some issues. Like, I'll probably fucked up and forgot to hit this record button this time or something. I know it's recording the audio, though, so that's the most important part. But this is my first time recording on my phone, so I'm hoping that it just continues to fucking record the whole thing. And then, yeah, it didn't take me too long to get everything uploaded. It was like actually easier to figure it out. And then I just uploaded it. Boom, boom, boom. So, man, I fucking can't wait for yard sale season. It's just so cold. If it was just a little bit warmer. I see people in like Florida and other places that are warm, and they're just like, there's yard sales everywhere. And we're here. Sorry, that was the first one of the podcast, I think. We're just here freezing our fucking tits and dicks off. All right, let me see what else I got. Well, actually, I wanted to continue to talk about Pokemon cards for a minute. Because, yeah, man, Pokemon cards have been around for so long. That's like the one thing that I have that's like, I consider an investment. So, like, I have a hard time. Like, I have a lot of Pokemon video games. Yeah, I just have a hard time, like, getting rid of that stuff. I have a sealed Pokemon video game, although I'm not 100% sure it's authentic. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace, like, right. It was like when Facebook Marketplace was really scammy. But, like, I bought it off somebody, and it was like, it was before everybody, like, before there was like a reselling boom, and like before you couldn't get deals on, like, you could still get deals on Marketplace. It was like when you could get deals on Marketplace all day, and like, but there was also like the opportunity to get scammed. Like, I got scammed on Facebook Marketplace like an idiot one time. I paid for something, and then the fucking post just disappeared. So I was like, oh, can I pay you to hold it? Like, not even fucking thinking like, oh, that they wouldn't. And then they post disappeared. But this one I bought from, like, it was somebody had posted it, and they shipped it to me. And it just seemed like it was from somebody's collection, like, you know what I mean? And I've just had it since. So I'm not 100% sure. I got it for like $35. But again, it was at the time when on Facebook you could still get deals and shit. So it was like, it could have been like a too good to be true situation, but I don't know. Everything about it looks authentic, but I've never had to authenticate a game unless it was just like the cartridge, you know what I mean? Like, I know how to authenticate the cartridge, but the game itself, I don't know. Everything else looks legit. Like, it looks like it would be hard to fucking make you know what I mean? It looks like it would be if it's a fake, it's a good one. It'll still be worth a couple bucks, you know, even if I hold on to it for a while. You know what I mean? So it holds a little bit of value down the road because it's like a, reproduction or whatever. Um. So yeah. But yeah, I've been on Pokemon since it began. Like I used to know all 150. And then it just kept going and going and going. But yeah, I remember I pulled a Charizard. That's what started me in reselling, man. It was this instance, not this incident, but yeah, I got a Charizard, like pulled it from a pack in a 7-Eleven. Like that 7-Eleven isn't even 7-Eleven anymore. It's changed so many times. And yeah, I did that little kid scream, like where your voice just goes like, like is the scream you do when you're dreaming. You know what I mean? When you're in your dreams and you're screaming and nothing's coming out, but you're like trying so hard to scream, like that's in your nightmares. That's the type of scream that I was doing. Like I was trying so hard to scream. Like I was just like, oh my god, I fucking Charizard. Like I sounded like Robert F. Kennedy. I was like, oh my god, I fucking Charizard. Yeah, dude, just absolutely losing my mind, like losing my shit. And yeah, man, I have no idea what happened to those cards. I think I just gave them away. Just first edition Charizard, like, because it was like when Pokemon first came out, you know what I mean? It was like, to find that card was like, so I thought for sure I would have held on to it as I got older, but when I was a teenage drunk, I was just a fucking idiot, man. So I got rid of a bunch of that shit and, been chasing that. So now I have a Charizard collection, and I've got like 8 or 9 different Charizards. I've got one graded. It's a PSA 8, I think. And it's a Charizard. It's a 2002 Legends Edition Charizard with like the reverse the reverse foil. It's a fucking sick card. And I got that for $30 at there was this place in Washington near where we lived. It was called Yardbirds, and they had like all these old Pokemon cards. And like I remember seeing that Charizard and I was like, oh fuck, I should have got more. And like now that I think of it, you know what I mean? But I just threw it in a drawer. Like I bought it for $30 and like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, what am I gonna do with it? You know what I mean? I threw it in a drawer, and it just sat in a drawer for years. And then I was like, and then cards came back, and I remember like, I think it was like Gary Vee or somebody was talking about Pokemon cards. And, he's like, oh, you don't have to get into trading cards, or you don't have to get into sports cards, you can get into Pokemon cards, blah, blah. And I was like, wait a second, and I fucking ran into the other room and I looked, and I like in the drawer I had it. It's like, fuck yeah, I found it. But I sent it in, got it graded. But now I have the other ones. I want to get the other ones graded too. I've got like the black shiny Charizard. I've got quite a healthy Charizard collection. So if I get them all graded, I mean, I'm sure it's probably, I think the Legends one, the last time I checked, was like probably like in the 2,000 to 3,000 range. And I mean, that one's only going to keep going up. You know what I mean? That card's not going to go down at any point. But yeah, do that as a giveaway. I'm just kidding. I would never. But just give it away again. I'm like, all right. Fucking start my origin story again. And then this week I talked about when I was into NFTs for a little bit. I think I did. I think I ended up, it was on my list of shit to talk about at one point. I think I got into it, like how I basically like was all into it for like a fucking week or like 2 weeks. Like did nothing but like interact in their Discord. It was like I got on the Ozzy Osbourne one too. I think I said that. It was like called Crypto Bats. I still have it. And so this week I was like, what's his name? They announced the Trump coin. And so in my head, dude, I was like, fucking just go and buy it right now. And I didn't do it, and I should have fucking done it. I like ended up putting like, I ended up buying one full coin the next day. But I should have, when it was at like $40 or something like that. But I should have right away, if I had done it and just put that $40 into, I would have had so much money in fucking overnight. Oh, it was so stupid. I had the instinct. I was like, just fucking buy it. It'll be a lot by tomorrow. And I didn't do it. I think I started to look into how to do it, and I just couldn't figure it out, and then fucking just like whatever. And then once it was on Coinbase, I was like, oh, I can do it easily. But by then it was like, I mean, it could still go up. If it goes up a lot more, it could be worth some money, but who knows? I figured fuck it, just fuck. It was like $40. I got one Trump coin. I'm sure some people will be annoyed by that, but whatever. I'm a former Democrat. Blame the Democrats for not keeping me with you. It's not my fault. Yeah, I'm just looking over at the stack of bananas, man. Fucking banana money, baby. I didn't realize that bananas were so cheap. Let me see. Do I have anything else to talk about for the last 9 minutes? I have this one pair of. Do you ever have something that you are trying to get sold, and it just will not I sold this pair of pants for $40. It got returned. Then they gave me negative feedback because it didn't fit, but I put I put the measurements in there. The size was on there. It's like, what the fuck can I do? You know what I mean? I can't. And so they put that negative feedback. I reached out to eBay, and they actually got rid of the feedback, which was surprising. Yeah. So they're like, because I had this. It said the reason was that I had the sizes. You know what I mean? It's like, if it doesn't fit, you can't leave a negative. I put all the sizes. You're just a dumbass. And I'm pretty sure they just wore it for a weekend, and you know what I mean? It was a guy's pants. Most guys know their sizes, unless you just didn't realize that Abercrombie and Fitch runs small. You know what I mean? But if it's a 30 whatever by 30, it's it was 36 by 32. I think was the size. It's that's gonna be a standard size. You know what I mean? Abercrombie shirts, I'm sure run small, but there's no way that the jean, you know what I mean? A 36 is going to be a 36. As far as I know, I mean, maybe they do run small. I don't know. But it also had the measurement. So it's what do you want me to do? I put the fucking measurements there. Put the measurements of everything so you could see it. So anyway, it gets returned to me. They just put in the reason don't fit. Okay. So then I sold it again for $30. Never got paid for. And then 2 days ago I got an offer on it again for $25. Took it, didn't get paid for, or still hasn't got paid for. So I'm just ready to be done with these fucking pants. They're cargo pants. They are cool looking pants. There's some pair of Abercrombie pants that are crazy expensive. I thought, not crazy, I can't remember if maybe it's $100 something bucks. I don't think it was, I think it was $100 something bucks. But I thought that's the pair that I had. There was 2 different types, and mine was the type that was not the expensive type. That's always kind of how it happens until it happens that it's the expensive type. There's a blueberry muffin calling my name right now. It's sitting over there. I got blueberry muffins today, a fucking piggy. And because I was at the store and I was hungry. That's what happens when you go and you haven't eaten yet. And so I got some blueberry muffins, and got some Girl Scout cookies the other day. Fuck me, dude. They're not even that good. Every year, it's we forget. You know what I mean? The only ones I think they're worth it, that are worth it every year. Samoa are gross. I fucking hate the coconut. I would like it without the coconut. It doesn't need the coconut. Everything else is fine. Just keep it just get rid of the coconut. I know some people are like, the coconut's the best part. Yeah. Coconut's fucking gross. I like coconut oil. I don't even know if I like coconut water, just coconut oil. Swishing it in my mouth, putting it on my feet so my feet don't look nasty. But yeah, Samoas I could do without Samoas. Not my favorite. And yeah, so then what was I gonna say? So I got the Thin Mints ones are the only ones I think are worth it. I that's the only ones that I think are worth it. We got the peanut butter ones. They're alright. And then we tried this new one that's called the Adventurer, and it's got caramel in it. Looked really good, but it's kind of sweet. It's all that shit's super sweet. And I forget every year. It's just one of those things. You're oh man, Girl Scout cookies. They're outside the store. I'll do it, And then you do it, and you're just you're both these taste like shit. How the fuck did we do this? Yeah, that's not good. And yeah, we were in Boy Scouts. It's like I was thinking like, oh, maybe they could make them, and then that would make it better. But it's like, I don't trust those kids to make shit. You know what I mean? And who's got time, dude? Kids don't have time to fucking make shit. Parents don't have time to help them make shit, certainly. So they just buy this fucking shitty ass cookies. They probably get it repackaged from like China or some shit. It's just like whatever fucking bullshit knockoffs, like the clearance cookies at the other places. But those Thin Mints, man, the Thin Mints are the best. And you got to put the Thin Mints in the freezer. You just put them right in the freezer, and you get that shit like ready to go. Hold on, I just want to put something down. Oh man, fuck me. Hold on. So anyway, hold on, let me get this. Sorry. You can see me on the video now too, so it's like I can't even hide anymore. My nose has just gotten like stuffed up for fucking whatever reason. I like that people are like freaking out about this bird flu. They've been trying to fucking sell us this bird flu since like for like years now, man. Like I remember back in the day, there'd be like Asian people on the subway and shit with the masks on, and nobody else would have the mask on. They'd be like, "Oh, it's from like fucking bird flu," which was like which they said like it was gonna happen, and then it didn't happen, and like, I can't, man. I'm not doing it again. There's like people that are freaking out about this fucking bird flu. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Don't fucking. You can. I'm not gonna. All right. But I am like starting to get sick again. I don't know if I'm getting sick or my nose just got stuffed out of nowhere. I don't know if it's from sitting like. I don't know. I feel like it just got like a lot quieter here just a minute ago. Who knows? And man, I fucking hate the RMV. I hope that shit goes quick. Get that trailer ready to go. But yeah, I'm going to finish up the podcast now. So tomorrow, I think the Whatnot, 2:00 for Whatnot. Flips and Giggles is the name. So I've got the sale posted. I'm going to be listing some items on there today to get them up. So if anybody wants to pre-bid, you can bid on there. Most of them are going to start between like $10 and $15. Maybe less for certain ones, like the ones that are like without any clothes and like all kind of fucked up. Those will start at like $5, I think. So we've got a bunch of them, and like hopefully we can just go through and rattle everything off, and get it done time for the game to be on. And check out Flips and Giggles on Facebook, Perry Flips with a Z on Instagram, Pothead Picker on X. Oops. And now on YouTube, you can get the podcast. It's the Roughly Related to Reach Selling podcast. I don't know if the channel is Flips and Giggles, or I might just change the channel to Flips and Giggles. I can't remember if I have to wait a few more days or what, but I might change the channel name to Flips and Giggles and then just upload it as Roughly Related to Reselling, so that way I can upload other content there. But I don't know if I'm going to upload content there except for the podcast. So then, you know what? I think I'm just going to keep it the podcast and then upload stuff to Patreon eventually. So yeah, that's the episode. Thank you everybody for listening, and shout out if you end up listening to the Whatnot, say what's up on the Whatnot, and I'll give you a little bit of a discount on your order if you come over there from the podcast. If I get this out in time, I'm hoping to get it out today, but we'll see. Hopefully I don't get distracted. I'm going to do it like right now, because it'll take me 2 seconds to upload the audio. So I'll upload the audio for sure. And then I can upload the rest to YouTube later, hopefully today, or maybe not tomorrow, but it'll be sometime soon. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.